Hey, welcome to Illo Talk. I am Cory Kerr, and we're going to do a big laundry list of things today. So let's get to it. Okay, so first things first. I haven't made a video in a few weeks, and that's because life got crazy. I went to Adobe Max in Las Vegas. I took 23 students with me, and so that's a little hectic. Cool experience. I got an iPad Pro, which I talked about a little bit, but I've been drawing on it, and you will now see some of the random things that I drew at Adobe Max and that I've drawn like during church and meetings and other stuff on the iPad Pro. I've also done a bunch of uncut videos where I go in and we're teaching students how to use Adobe Illustrator. And so if you want to see me teach people how to use Adobe Illustrator by following along in real time, you can check out the uncut playlist below. And then I got sick, and my voice is still hasn't really returned, but I couldn't talk for about a week, and I was coughing, and it was horrible, and I didn't like it, and that was frustrating. And great news, I made it through round 1 of the mentorship that I was going for. And so I was applying for ArtLink 212's Creative Incubator because of Laura Ennis, who draws the Dreamer and the Winona Earp comic for IDW. And so I'm going to take Shitakiri Susumi, the Tongue-Cut Sparrow, the children's book that I've been drawing, and I've applied. And so they asked me to do a full application, and the full application involved a ton of stuff. And so while I was getting ready to do that full application, every site that I run on the internet got infected with a virus. That was super frustrating. So I went on there and I was hosting a page, which I'll link to. If you guys want to see my initial pitch, you can go to the link in the description at korykerr.com, and it's in the blog. And so I pitched them with this page that I was hosting that showed a lot of the artwork, and it had like the, a bunch of the videos that I've made and things like that. And then the server that I'm hosting my stuff on got a virus, and my account was shut down from my host because I was being accused of malware and all this stuff. And so literally for like 3 or 4 days, all I did was try to scrub malware and virus and Trojan horses and all kinds of garbage off of my sites. And the problem is that they replicate all these sites, and I'd have to get on with IT and get some, have them scan it and tell me what sites I need to remove. It sucked. It was really annoying. I hated it. It was the worst. And so that was really frustrating. Anyway, I finally cleaned everything off, got that up and running, changed passwords, updated a bunch of stuff along that, and so fingers crossed, hopefully that stays that way and I'm able to continue to run those sites. But it was kind of stressful and frustrating because I also host several sites that I use for the classes that I've written in college. Those went down in addition to my own personal site and things like that. And so there's about 6 websites that were so frustrating, it was horrible. And so that put me way behind, right? So Vegas, then I got sick, and then my websites got sick. And so there's viruses flying around all over the place. Anyway, then I get an email, and it's from a seller on Amazon, and they said, hey, we love your YouTube channel, and we noticed that you talk about art and things related to artists, and we were wondering if you'd be interested in taking a look at some of our products. And let me show you this. This is awesome. So they sent me this. It is a really, really comfortable seat cushion, and they wanted me to review it, which I will do now, because my chair is kind of at the point where I was like, oh, man, it's hurting my back. I'm sitting in it, you know, for hours every day at the drawing table or at the Cintiq, and I had to buy this like cheap, crappy like backrest thing. This thing is sick. I love this thing, and it's not that expensive. It's on sale on Amazon. It's got like rubber grips here that like stick to your seat so it doesn't slide around. It is like high density memory foam. It zips out so you can kind of like see, you can see the inside. It's like the memory foam deal. Very comfortable. If you are having back issues or are not comfortable in your chair at the drawing table for long periods of time, I would check this out. I like it. I like it a lot. I think they've done a pretty good job putting it together. So that was cool. And thank you for reaching out, because that was pretty awesome. And if anybody else wants me to take a look at products that might be related to illustration, art, or the creative life, feel free to hit me up. And I'd love to take a look. I'm going to sit back down on this. So there we go. All right. I like it. So anyway, there's that. And so ArtLink, I'm pretty excited about that. I just submitted the full application the other night, and so we'll wait to hear back from them. I'm hoping I get that because it would be pretty cool and it'd be really helpful with the project. And I always like getting to know and getting critique from other creatives who have done things in the industry that I haven't done. So that would be pretty sick. That would be pretty awesome. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the things that happened during Vegas when I was there. So Adobe Max is a giant conference, and there's about 10 to 12,000 people, illustrators, photographers, graphic designers, typesetters, like anybody visual, video editors and all that kind of stuff that are showing up to this conference to see what Adobe is doing with their Creative Cloud. And so I found a couple people that I've been like admiring their work for a long time, like Dan Stiles, who does like super sick gig posters and stuff like that. Melinda Beck is awesome. And I went to all these sessions, and I'm going to kind of do the next series of videos on Illo Talk. I'm going to kind of like talk about some of the things that I picked up, that I learned, that I gleaned from these things, and they were really good. But another thing that I'm interested in is every year the university where I teach gives us a little bit of money to go to a conference or do a thing to like stay current, and Adobe Max was great, and that's the second time I've been to Adobe Max. But I'm curious on what you guys think. Where should I go? 2018. What should I do? Where should I go with that? Any suggestions, leave them in the comments, because I would love to kind of expand and see what's out there. I'm looking for professional training and networking events and things like that. So that's kind of a if you don't use it, you lose it type situation. So I'd love to do that. Every 5 years I get to do a sabbatical, which is where I take a semester and I go somewhere and work on a project, which I'm pretty excited about. But that's a few years off. So for now, though, I get to do like a trip where I have some professional training, and this year that was Adobe Max, and it was great. It was a good trip. Good trip. So that's that. So yeah. So I got sick. My websites got sick. I finished the stuff, and I've drawn some stuff. And I'll tell you what. Apple Pencil. I like the Apple Pencil. It's pretty cool. Some of Adobe's mobile apps are lacking, and so I've experimented with Procreate, which is what a lot of people like. Based on what I've heard on Twitter, a lot of people like Procreate. I like parts of Procreate. I think there are some things that are pretty cool about it, but I think something that is not getting a ton of play that I really prefer over Procreate is Autodesk's Sketchbook app. It's really good, and that pencil in there is sick. It is awesome. And so I've been doing pencil sketches on my 13-inch, 12.9 or whatever iPad Pro with the Apple Pencil, that is the first time that I've really felt like I think something digital could replace a sketchbook. And I've stopped carrying my sketchbook around, though I still draw on it, and I've started carrying my iPad Pro. So that's pretty cool. I think an iPad Pro plus a keyboard is a pretty good combination for a lot of things, and I like that situation a lot. So that's a lot of what you're seeing, is kind of me experimenting with some of the Adobe mobile apps, Procreate, and Autodesk Sketchbook. The last one is the one that I prefer, at least for sketching. I'm not much of a painter, and so a lot of the stuff that the others offer as far as painting goes, I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Then finally, I have some colored pages from The Tongue-Cut Sparrow, from my children's book that I'm working on. You'll see that I am going off of kind of a color palette from Hiroshi Yoshida, who is a woodblock printer from the late 1800s, early 1900s, Japanese woodblocks. And I've taken that and then I've muted and desaturated everything to kind of knock it back just a little bit and give it kind of an aged and weathered feel. And so I've got 3 of those sample pages that you're seeing on the screen right now. So anyway, I'm back and I will be doing stuff again. And I don't know how long it's been since my last video, but one thing that I've got to figure out, and if you guys know this, I would love to know, but I have a really good Razer Siren microphone. It's USB, and the problem is my 2012 Mac Mini that I run my Cintiq and drawing stuff off of, which is what I have been doing my video editing on, it doesn't handle 4K video very well. Like I put 4K video on the timeline and it's like, and it starts just not doing well. And so because I'm shooting 4K on the iPad Pro, I've had some issues trying to get the editing done. And so I've started editing on the iPad Pro, which is a little bit slower. But I've got Luma Fusion, which is a pretty cool thing. There's some limitations to it, but that's a good app for mobile editing. But the problem is the sound that I'm getting is being picked up by the iPad mic rather than by my cool, expensive USB mic. And so I'm wondering if anybody knows if I were to get one of those USB to Apple charging port, I can't remember if that's called a Thunderbolt or a Lightning Zeus thing or whatever, I can't remember what it's called, whatever that connection is, if that would work. I'm not sure. Anyway, so yeah, so that's that. Also, I'm losing my hair, which is frustrating. Right there. Used to be just this white spot. The hair's just gone now. I've read about it. I should probably go to the doctor. I should go to the doctor. I'm going to go to the doctor. I've read about it. It's one of 3 things. It's either that I have a permanent spot there and I will go bald from the left side of my head, which I'm not excited about. Or it's going to grow back and everything will be fine. Or I have lupus. It's one of those 3. So of course, the internet has told me, I looked up a symptom and the internet has told me that I'm going to die, which is every single time I look up a symptom. I'm like, something happened, and I look it up and it's like, you're going to die a horrible death. So thank you, internet. I don't think it's lupus. There's no because lupus happens because of sores. There's no sores. It's just a weird bald spot that just showed up. I thought the chick who cut my hair nicked me, and then it just didn't grow back in, and it's been several haircuts since then. So if what I'm reading online is true, I'm crossing my fingers for you have a weird bald spot for a couple months, then it comes back. So there's a bunch of weirdness in my life. That's what's been going on. I hope you enjoyed some of the stuff you've seen and some of the sketches. And if you want a seat cushion, this one's pretty sick. I'll leave a link to the seat cushion in the description of this video. And that's all I got. So there's my weird, rambling laundry list of randomness of the last month. for me. I feel like I'm missing some stuff, but we'll talk about it. We will. Okay, at some point. Okay, if you liked this video, you've probably been watching this for a long time and have gotten to know me a little bit. If you didn't like this video, go watch any other video I've ever done. It'll be a lot more succinct and less random. And then, after you watch that video, if you like that video, whatever random link that you click on, then you can subscribe to this channel or click on that little bell and be notified when I release a new video. And if you guys are interested in learning After Effects or Illustrator, check out my vector graphics playlist or check out my AI to AE playlist. And if you're interested in watching more speed videos of me doing stuff and drawing things, then you can check out that playlist. And if you want to hear me talk about things, you can check out Illo Talk. So, yeah, there's that. I'm out. We'll catch you guys later.